Hey guys, welcome back into another episode of The Last of Us on HBO. We have episode 2, The Infected, premiering, and I am so excited for episode 2. Like I said, episode 1 in my eyes was immaculate. The actors were amazing, the costume design was amazing, the sets, all of it was just so well done. And I particularly love the fact that it was very well thought out what scenes they were going to stay true to and even keep some of the original dialogue to, and what scenes they were going to change, add to. And it even seemed like maybe the writers from Naughty Dog went back and saw a couple of loose ends on their end and they went and tied those together. A good example being Marlene versus Robert's guys, and that's how they come to the trade-off with Ellie. It was all so good. It was so well done. I love that representation of what Joel's life was like before the virus. It really allowed us to get closer to Joel than what we already were in those beginning stages and get to know Sarah a little bit more and get some background on Tommy that I don't originally think we had. I don't think it was ever mentioned that he was a combat vet, but that makes perfect sense. And I really enjoy that change. It makes a lot of sense. And I particularly love in the first episode the scene in the 1960s with that scientist who specialized in pandemics and diseases 40 years prior to the virus, explaining that this is something that we have to look out for and really laying the groundwork that humans are always the architect of our own downfall in these situations. We cause global warming. Global warming allows the fungus to adapt to the human body. It's the end of times. So all of it was so good. It was so fun to watch, and I'm very excited for this episode, because obviously I feel like we're going to be following the timeline that's kind of set out for us in the game if we want to get through the entire first game in one season. So I am looking forward to what might be our first run-in with clickers this episode. So I'm just really excited to jump into it and watch it with you guys. So let's go ahead and jump straight into the reaction. Jakarta. Oh, is this supposed to be our ground zero? I don't think it's ever expressed in the game what ground zero was. Or where ground zero was, I mean. Okay, the military are there for this nice-looking old lady.
Apa Bapak tidak salah orang? Ellie Bu Ratna, Profesor Mikologi, Universitas Indonesia. Kita memiliki orang yang tepat.
Okay, so we have another scientist for a flashback, this time in Jakarta in 2003, the date of the outbreak, or the year of the outbreak. They must have their first batch of infected and they're bringing her in to examine.
Kami butuh bantuan Bu Ratna untuk meneliti spesimen yang telah kami persiapkan.
Ibu mungkin
Pendapat Bu Ratna yang saya butuhkan.
Ini opio cordyceps. Tapi kenapa menggunakan klorazol untuk mempersiapkan slide?
Kami gunakan sebagai persiapan pengambilan sampel dari tubuh manusia, Bu Ratna.
Cordyceps tidak bisa bertahan pada manusia.
Can you imagine how terrifying that has to be for her right off the bat? Because the average person doesn't really know what cordyceps is, but you have this professional who recognized it within a matter of seconds, and to hear that it is surviving inside of a human host, terrifying. Okay, this person was shot in the head. Oh, why is it white under there? Is that part of the fungus?
Apa ini gigitan manusia?
Ugh. Oh, it's still alive. Oh my god. Okay. So the fungus can survive and feed off the body. Even if the brain is damaged, it can just no longer force motor functions. Oh, so that means you're not even really safe around the dead bodies because the fungus is still living in there.
Jadi kapan ini terjadinya, Pak?
Kurang lebih 30 jam yang lalu, Bu.
Di mana?
Di pabrik tepung dan gabah di barat kota.
Oh, yeah, I got into the flour. Oh, you know what? That's how it spread. Sarah and Joel nearly avoided getting infected several times. They weren't able to make pancakes with flour. They never got a cake. Sarah didn't eat the cookies that were made. Oh, they narrowly avoided infection several times.
Siapa yang menggigit perempuan itu, Pak?
That's a good question. Do they not have the person who bit the worker?
Jadi artinya mereka masih berkeliaran di luar sana. Lalu pekerja yang lain bagaimana?
14 orang hilang.
So not only is it in the flower, you have 14 active infected that you don't know where they are.
Jadi apa yang harus kami lakukan?
Bom.
Wow.
Mulailah pengoboman. Bom seluruh kota. Dan seluruh orang yang ada di dalamnya.
These flashbacks are immaculate. This is the second episode that we've had an expert in infections, viruses, pandemics, fungus openly tell us as the audience that should something like this ever happen, there's nothing we can really do. We're kind of screwed because there is no vaccine, any kind of cure in sight, because the conditions needed to make a vaccine are so mathematically improbable that it's not even in the forefront of the mind of these experts. And here she is telling this military leader, you need to bomb the city, raze it to the ground. And it's not even going to stop the infection. This just might pause it for a short amount of time if you are lucky. And that is frightening.
Maaf, Pak. Apa ada yang bisa antar saya pulang? Saya hanya ingin bersama dengan keluarga, dengan suami dan anak-anak saya.
I do love the feeling of dread and like that end of the world acceptance that these flashbacks are filling me with, because they're just so well set up. And once again, a great introduction for people who don't know anything about this game or anything about the cordyceps virus and how it acts in the animal kingdom. They're just so well done. And once again, the bombings, to have to get to that point where you're having an expert tell a military leader, you need to bomb the population, and it's not going to help the situation. It just might slow the spread because this fungus largely lives underground. So eradicating the entirety of the fungal infection is nearly impossible, if not completely impossible. I really enjoy this. Oh, butterfly. Find you a nice little patch of moss to sleep on. I mean, for ground, it looks rather comfortable. I wouldn't sleep there unless I had to, but it does look rather comfortable.
Morning.
Those two are really waiting it out, trying to see if she's going to change or not.
Do I look like I'm infected?
Show us your arm.
I guess it really is hard for them to believe. They've lived in this world for 20 years and not seen anything like this, so they have a right to be suspicious.
If we're out in the open city, why aren't we getting swarmed?
Don't worry about that.
Well, I'm gonna.
What was Marlene doing with an infected kid?
I'm not infected. She locked me up and had her guys test me every day to see if I was getting sick.
Test you how?
I have to pee.
Test you how?
They'd make me count to 10 and hold out my hand and then keep it steady. But you know, I think what really impressed them was the fact that I didn't turn into a fucking monster.
That does seem to be the part of the test that you'd want to pass. The counting towards 10 and holding your hand seems kind of pointless if you end up turning into a zombie regardless. It actually seems unnecessary. Why not just pop open the door every once in a while and just, see that the kid is not a runner, and then you can just shut it back. You don't need to have a conversation.
There's not gonna be anything bad in here?
Just you.
Oh, funny.
I'm really excited to see more of these two bonding. That don't look good.
Broken.
Maybe a hairline. It'll heal fast.
At least the game didn't have a broken bones mechanic, because we never would have healed the amount of times you just run out of bullets and start punching.
If we take her back to the QZ, someone's gonna notice her arm. They're gonna scan her. Then they'll kill her.
Well, better them than us. You need to stop talking about this kid like she's got some kind of life in front of her.
Really enjoying Joel being so anti-Ellie and just apprehensive to the entire situation. That jerky does not look appetizing. Also, I wonder what kind of meat it is. And you know, it's probably best if I don't know. She has a whole sandwich.
Is that chicken?
Yep. Or until they get it from smugglers. Guess not you guys.
She's out here with her apocalyptic Popeyes while they're eating tree bark jerky.
I'm gonna talk to you like you're an adult, okay? Joel and I aren't good people. We're doing this for us because apparently you're worth something. But we don't know what you're worth if we don't know what we have.
One of the interesting things about Joel and Tess is it's constantly reiterated that they are terrible people and they think they're terrible people, but they are so beloved by the community. It's interesting how you form bonds with characters that, you know, aren't best on the morality scale, but you like them.
They're working on a cure.
I've heard this before.
And whatever happened to me is
It's the key to finding the vaccine. That's what this is. We've heard this a million times. Vaccines, miracle cures. None of it works, ever.
Fuck you, man. I didn't ask for this.
You and me both. This isn't gonna end well, Tess.
You can't blame him. 20 years of living in this world, they have probably tried everything they could to make a vaccine or some type of cure, and it just has never panned out. Once again, they have every right to be hesitant about this.
It doesn't matter if she is or she isn't what the Fireflies say. If they believe that she is, then we get what we want.
Yeah, you get a loaded truck, a battery, some gasoline, bullets. I mean, it doesn't really matter whether or not she's useful to you. She's useful to someone, and they're gonna pay for her.
If she so much as twitches.
Don't.
I love this casting. I really do. I already knew they were a phenomenal actor, but they are really embodying Ellie.
Can I have a gun?
Absolutely not.
Okay, Jesus, fine. I'll just throw a fucking sandwich at them.
You never know. Maybe the clickers are hungry. They've been feeding off what? Maybe rats or something themselves? They could do with a chicken sandwich.
Whoa.
Yeah, looks different in the daylight, huh?
I love the leaning towers. It's so scary to think the government bombed the city to this extent and it did nothing.
So the state house is across there. It's about a 10-minute walk if you could go straight.
So,
Long way or short way?
I mean, it's the long way or the we're fucking dead way.
well, I vote long way, just based on that limited information.
You have to check it from the hotel first.
These three are so enjoyable to watch, and it's only been a very short time with them as a trio. But I do enjoy that they aren't treating Ellie like a kid, because in this environment, there's no reason to. You can't baby her.
How did you get bit?
You know the old mall in the QZ?
The one that's sealed off and boarded up and no one's supposed to go in? Ever? That one?
Whatever, I snuck in.
So it was just you in there alone?
No, but that's a story for a different time.
How old are you?
14.
Wow. Well, I mean, you got some balls on you, sister.
Thanks.
Tess is such a fun character. I really enjoy her.
Everyone said the open city was crazy. Like, swarms of infected running around everywhere.
Not exactly like that.
You know, people like to tell stories.
So there aren't super infected that explode fungus spores on you?
Shit, I hope not.
Or ones with split open heads that see in the dark like bats?
Those ones also aren't fun. Wait till you find the ones that hunt you rather than the other way around. Those are my least favorite. Okay, so clickers and bloaters are kind of treated, I don't know, like urban legends or something, it seems like, because she has an idea that they exist, but it seems more like a rumor. So people on the inside really don't know too much about what goes on outside the walls. Oh, look at the ducks. What's playing the piano? Oh, it's a frog. I do love this aesthetic of nature overtaking man. It's one of the funner parts of the apocalypse.
Wait, are we going in there?
Yeah, we gotta get to the stairwell on the other side.
Well, I don't know how to swim.
Seriously?
Do you think we have pools in the QZ?
No, smartass. I mean,
I don't know how I was supposed to know that.
Don't worry, Cupcake. Someone will teach you later. Oh, wait. This is supposed to be the hotel from Pittsburgh. Okay, interesting. So we're taking levels from different areas of the game.
Ding, ding. Yes, sir. I would like your finest suite, please.
Yes, ma'am. Would you like me to check your luggage? Yes, ma'am. Right away, ma'am.
you're a weird kid.
You're a weird kid.
Frightened by the concierge. It is sometimes easy to forget how young she is in these situations, so I do like that they have her like playing around with the environment. Now all she needs is a joke book and we're set.
Holy shit.
Come on, it wasn't that bad.
You try climbing 10 frickin' floors with our knees. See how you feel.
That does create something really interesting because Joel and Tess are older, so I was wondering how many of the combat and stealth zones they would be crouching around in. Because my Joel had thighs of steel. That man was always crouching.
And open it from the inside?
No, well, I'm the smallest, so it'd be easier for me to get through.
But you die and you get nothing. You stay. You can meet him.
Give her a boost, Joel. Oh, not the remove by the hoodie. Once again, something so simple and makes logical sense you would boost your partner up, but I like seeing the characters interact in the same mechanics that they use in the game.
Where are you from?
Not the small
Texas.
talk.
What about Tess?
Detroit.
So, you two,
Pass.
Oh, I'm also wondering, kid. I don't think I'd get an answer either.
how'd you end up in Boston?
Pass. No more questions about me.
That actually is a good question. How'd you go from Austin, Texas to Boston?
How long do infected live?
Oh, I thought you went to school.
It's a really shitty one.
It's okay, kid. Even before the virus, they weren't that good. You're not missing out on education.
Well, some last about a month or two. But there's others been walking around about 20 years.
Can you imagine some of the infected you'd find at Ground Zero? I mean, we know of one of them, but like the Ground Zero in Jakarta, imagine if one of those had lived.
Put the gun down, Joe.
She knows her partner so well. Slightest movement, he's gonna point a gun. Oh. What are they doing?
The last time we were here, they were still deep inside the buildings. Then I guess enough people came through looking for the QZ. We went inside seeking shelter. And that's how they get more and more of the city, bit by bit, year after year.
Oh, look at them. Oh, and they're reacting to sunlight.
The fungus also grows underground. Long fibers like wires, some of them stretching over a mile. And you step on a patch of cordyceps in one place, and you can wake a dozen infected from somewhere else. Now they know where you are, now they come.
That is the mechanic for the show. Could you imagine playing by those rules in the game? You just bypass 20 runners by sneaking through one section, but then you step on a patch of cordyceps and it becomes a chase sequence? Absolutely not. But what I do love is that they are building upon cordyceps so that it's a lot more than just this zombie virus taking over minds, because that is what cordyceps would do. It's what any fungus would do, is that find a place to burrow, and then the roots roots of it, these tendrils that come out, would serve as a nervous system, where if you touch one, the entirety of the hive mind of the fungus would know that that area has been touched in some way. That is terrifying. But once again, I like that we're building upon this world a little bit more than what we originally got.
Short way?
Museum.
We're getting the museum sequence. Let's go. Okay, those tendrils look dried out, but honestly, I don't trust any of this because I'm still not sure what the rules are for an infected drying out versus continuing to another stage of infection.
I have a spare hand.
Congratulations.
You're really gonna wish you had given this kid a gun at some point. I almost hate the dried fungus more than the living one, because living fungus, you know you're in danger, but the dried one, once again, I just don't trust it.
Yeah. Cooked.
Oh, finally some fucking luck.
I guess we should have gone this way in the first place.
Don't speak too soon.
Oh, shit.
See? That guy's fresh.
I don't hear it. Who would you hear? Who would you hear?
I love how frightened they are. They know it has to be a clicker, but they are so afraid of it.
Okay, from this point forward, we are silent. Not quiet. Silent. Well, no questions. Let's do it.
I love this because the first run-in with the clicker in the game almost feels too casual for how terrifying clickers are, considering they hunt with echolocation and their senses are insane. So that first run-in the broken tower is almost too casual for how frightening these things can be. So I really like that Joel and Tess are unnerved by the fact that there is a clicker in their vicinity. Oh, look at how many there were. And now they're just dried into the ground. Am I the only person who wonders what that fungus smells like? It has to have a smell. Oh, that paper-thin crunch. Ugh, kind of sounded like when you take a bite of one of those little air waffle chips. I hate seeing cordyceps grow out of things. It's such a body horror to look at. Even when I see photos of ants, it's so gross. And now they're shut in there. I love that they brought that scene in. They sound so good. And I love that Joel... The movements. Oh, look at them go. I love clickers. They have like a cute little grandma walk, the way they hunch their arms in and they pop the booty out. The fact that Joel and Tess are petrified unnerves me a lot more than I would be unnerved if I was playing the game, because I know how I would handle these situations, but because I'm watching them and I'm not in control. Oh, that close-up shot. Oh, the face looks so good. They sound good. The movements are amazing. Look at them run. Ooh. Okay, a little sound distraction. I would have thrown a brick, but I don't know if Joel has a brick. That's his first mistake. Why the hell didn't he pick up a brick? not trying to reload the revolver. Oh, this is gonna take so long, my guy. Why didn't you find a workbench? You gotta make some modifications. Ooh, it's crouch and sneak time. Look at those old knees go. Whoever these clicker actors are, they are phenomenal. Oh, someone shoot it in the fungus. Oh, thank you, Tess. I love that I'm saying thank you as if I'm playing the game and she saved me, because I always thank the companions. If that wasn't the most honest representation of gameplay, messing up the stealth portion and just having to start shooting.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, she got bit again?
I mean, if it was gonna happen to one of us.
Oh.
Hey.
This is when it happened. They really are hammering hard on that immunity thing, considering they let her get bit a second time. I don't even know when that happened. Probably when the clicker was on top of them.
Over there?
Yeah, I know, it looks scary.
That was scary. This is wood.
Yeah, that one's not the one that's afraid of heights. She's fine.
What about the kid? Maybe the first bite didn't take. But what about the second?
Why don't you just take the good news? Can you do that? Like to think for once, maybe we could actually win?
The shift in mannerisms, the expression in her eyes.
Is it everything you hoped for?
Jury's still out. But man, you can't deny that view.
I can't help smiling when I hear the guitar. Even with everything going on, all the bad stuff, it's just so good to see those scenes so well transferred onto the show. Is that the truck the Fireflies promised them? Or is it one of their own? Ooh, I don't think it matters whose truck it was. Oh, that's a lot of blood. I mean, as long as there's still gas in it, it's still good, so. Seats might be moist.
They went inside.
Tess.
Tess, could you please not rush in? It looks like an entire squadron got slaughtered.
One of them got bit. The healthy ones fought the sick ones. Everyone lost.
I'm staying. I mean, our luck had to run out sooner or later.
She held out well. Those charts say a bite on the neck is 20 minutes tops. Okay, it makes a lot of sense for them to have Ellie get bit then. That way there's a actual comparison between Tess's fresh bite and Ellie's fresh bite.
I need you to get her to Bill and Frank's.
No.
They'll take her off your hands. They'll handle it from here.
No, I can't. They won't take her. They're not gonna take her.
They will, because you'll convince them. Yes, you will. I never ask you for anything, not to feel the way I felt, not to you shut the fuck up, because I don't have time.
Okay, you know what? We're getting in a mission to a relationship.
Oh, fuck!
Oh! Oh no, it's a patch of cordyceps. Oh, so we get to see what an actual horde looks like. Oh my god, look at them all just rise up and immediately know where to go. Once again, I don't have the will. I would have stopped the first time I saw a runner. I'm not dealing with that.
What are you doing?
Making sure that they don't follow you.
You know what? I like this change. I like that Tess's last stand is against the infection and not against Fedra.
Say who you can say.
Oh my God.
We're not leaving her! Get off me, you fucker!
Oh, Ellie, baby, you don't have a choice. But I do love that connection that she formed with Tess in such a short amount of time. Baby, please tell me you do not have a faulty lighter. If you do not take 5 steps to your left and pick up a grenade and pull the pin, we are not doing this. Is it sensing she's already infected? Oh, no, what the fuck? I just want to have a talk with whoever that idea belonged to. It sucks because Tess is such a great character, but I appreciate this change here, having her last stand be against the infected rather than getting gunned down by Fedra. Another amazing episode. Once again, the way that they are going about picking and choosing what to stay true to versus what to change for the sake of the show, it doesn't even feel like, because a lot of the times when showrunners or writers for TV shows or movies change something for the base game, it feels like it's adding nothing. If anything, it's taking away from the original story. But here, I think because Naughty Dog was so heavily involved in the creation of the HBO show, if anything, it seems like they went back to what they wrote for the original game, and maybe they saw some loose ends that they didn't like or things they wish they could have added on at the time, but maybe they didn't have the time, the resources, or it was just pointless too for the sake of moving forward the story. But they are adding things that truly feel like it's adding to the world, and I'm really enjoying that. For one, I, once again, am loving these flashback sequences that we are getting, and I wonder if we're going to get one in the next episode, of these scientists, these people who have studied infections and viruses their entire lives, and they are actively telling the audience that a fungus infection of this magnitude is something that humanity would not be able to survive. You have 2 experts who have come out and said this would overtake the world. You would have just billions of puppets with no thought in their mind other than infecting other beings. And a vaccine, to these 2 experts back in the 1960s and the early 2000s, a vaccine is inconceivable because the conditions that you would need to create a vaccine, the existence of someone like Ellie whose genetic makeup forces the cordyceps to become dormant, that is such an improbable thing to happen that it's not even something that they conceive possible, these 2 experts. And to have that woman, first off, I couldn't imagine the type of terror that went through that scientist's body when she looked at that cordyceps sample, and then the military general tells her that the sample came from a human, because she knows what this virus, what this fungus is capable of in ants, but to hear it's adapted to humans, that in itself is terrifying. And for her first reaction to be, you have to start bombing. It's not going to stop the spread. It might slow it for a short amount of time, but if you want to slow it, you have to start razing cities. And that in itself is just so hard to think about. The fact that you can bomb cities to the point that they are uninhabitable. and it won't stop this fungus infection because the infection does thrive underground and you're not going to catch all patches of the infection. And I do really like that they are putting a lot of thought into how this fungus would mutate and adapt to its new environment, because a fungus would bury underground and create a network of nerve endings of just vines and roots. So to have it burrow into the cities, and patches of cordyceps can be anywhere, that if you step on them, you're going to alert the rest of the nervous system, and it's going to send runners or clickers after you the same way the human body would send white blood cells after an infection. That is, once again, nightmarish to think about. This episode, we finally got to see clickers. They look amazing. Whoever those actors were that were playing the clickers, phenomenal. They looked amazing. They moved amazing. It really gave you this feeling that clickers and the infected in general are nothing more than human husks that are being controlled by a hive mind that really doesn't know how to move the human body in any normal way, because there is no regard for the safety of the human host when it's throwing itself over counters or tables or onto people. And it's really interesting to watch it move, and I really enjoy it. And I do really like that they're taking the time to throw in mechanics from the game that are just really fun to watch, like boosting your partner up to a higher vantage point, or getting something out of the backpack, or Joel trying to reload the revolver, which we all know, if you played the game, is a pain to do in a high-risk situation. That man wishes he found a workbench. I am interested to see if they throw in a workbench. But the biggest change that I saw in this episode that I am just in love with is Tess's final stand being against the infection. I'm not okay with that kiss thing that happened. They could have left that out. That was one thing that, you know, was added in that I feel like added nothing besides it grossed me out. If anything, it felt a little violating and it was kind of unnecessary. The zombie could have easily had walked up to Tess, acknowledged that she was infected as she's trying to light that lighter. Also, she made me so mad. I know she's stressed out and it's a high-risk situation, but for the love of God, kneel down, put the spark to the oil, or take 5 steps to your left and pick up one of the mini grenades that are apparently just lying in a box. Anyway, the kiss was unnecessary, but given the fact that Tess in the game is so against becoming an infected herself or transforming and losing herself, that she goes as like a one-woman stand against the Fedra army that's coming in and she gets gunned down. I like that she had her last stand against the infection, the thing that she was so against becoming part of. That felt a lot more fulfilling than how she died in the game. That was really fun to watch. Not fun to watch, but it was a good change in my mind. Next episode, if we are continuing along the actual story path, I'm really excited for the next episode because it means likely we are going to be getting to Bill's town and seeing Bill and Frank. And that is a change that I'm really looking forward to, because something that I didn't even think about until I finished my reaction to episode 1 is that Joel and Tess in the game have no idea who Frank is. We get introduced to Frank through Bill during the town sequence in the game. So the fact that Bill and Frank are a unit and Joel and Tess are aware of them, it adds even more change than what I originally thought of when I was watching the first episode. And I'm just really excited to see Frank, especially because last episode the radio went off. It was 80s music. Bill and Frank are in trouble. So there's no telling what Joel and Ellie are walking into this soon after losing Tess, because Bill's town, that sequence is already very full of infected, very full of a lot of very tight and dangerous situations, including our first encounter with bloaters as the player, which I'm very excited to see in the show because I do hope they show us bloaters in the next episode. But it's going to be a completely different situation if we're walking into an environment where Bill and Frank are already in trouble. So I love it. I love it. I think it's great. The second episode was amazing, and I am so excited for next week. The only thing that can make it better in my mind if someone throws a brick. That's all I want, is for someone to chuck a brick at like a clicker or a runner. I just need some more bricks in the show. If you've seen my gameplay, there is nothing better in The Last of Us than a good brick. A good brick can easily be better than a handful of bullets in some situations. But I love it, and I hope you guys enjoyed the reaction and the episode, and I hope you join me again, and I'll be seeing you very soon. Bye now.